Let's understand the declaration with let in more detail and what's the difference between let, var, and the constant. So a variable declaration can be done with three different types in Typescript here. So first one is var, then we can do with let, and then constant. Everyone have its own usage. So initially, let me just try with var here. So var a equals to 10. Let me just give a quick console. Okay, I should get 10 here. Yes, we are getting. Now, let's say if I'm adding some business logic here, if it's true, I'm just trying to create a block here so that we can write some more code here. And I'm going to have some separate business logic here for some certain operation. And here, for writing this particular business logic here, I need to create few more variables where again I'm creating the variable a and making it 11. So I'm creating a separate variable a here and trying to use it in the logic which is inside this particular block. But now let's understand, either it will create a new variable or it will change my existing. So what will happen? I'll just pause for a minute. Let's think on it and ready with your answers. Fine. So let's see how it will work. Yes, it's changing. It's changing the original variable, we can say. So the problem over here is we need a separate business logic here to perform some certain operation. We need to use the variables. Those variables might be already used above here. We can use I, generally for loop, we use I, J, K, something like that, right? So we can compulsory keep reusing it. But due to this var here, it is changing the variables which are present outside of my business logic. So it's unwantedly hampering my application. It should not change this particular 10, and it is changing that 10. That's the reason this console we are getting here as something called 11 here. So our original value is getting changed, which is outside of our business logic. So if you don't want to hamper outside of your business logic, if you want to keep the variables limited to the scope that you are defining, so what you can do, you can just say it as let keyword. So this particular let keyword is saying that I'm going to create a local scoped variable. So this particular variable a with the value 11 is separately created and is just available within this block itself. I'm not going to change any value which is outside of my scope. So let's see the output now. Yeah, so it's not hampering the original value here. Okay, so interestingly, we'll also try to create one more, the b equals to 20 here, and I'll just try to access this b over here. Can I access the variable b? I'll just pause for a minute and wait for your answers. Okay, so let's try to do it. I'm immediately started getting an error. What it's saying that, let's try to read, cannot find the name B. Of course, because it's a local variable which is limited to this scope. So of course it can't find this particular variable B here. So I hope you understand how exactly the let works. One more, that is the const here, constant, which is with the name itself is suggest. If it's a constant, C equals to, let's say 25. Once it is initialized, we cannot change its value. That is what it's trying to say. It's a constant, we can't change it. So hope you understood the var, the const, and importantly, the let keyword in this particular lecture. Let's try to understand the let in more detail with few more advanced examples. So let me just create a variable a equals to 10 with the let declaration here. And I'll just create a dummy function here so that I can just make a quick call. And here, let me just make it a equals to 11. I'll just console it a. Be very careful here. We are just creating a function. We are not calling it at all till now. So what should be the outcome? It's 10. Okay. So now here, uh, let me just call this function 1. So now the execution of line number 6 is happening. It's creating a separate local scope variable, which is not going to affect anyway my global variable. So of course, the outcome here should be 10 itself. Okay, super perfect. If I just remove this, what will happen? Now there is no variable declared inside a local function here with the variable a. It will try to find the nearest available variable with the name a here. So which is the nearest available local variable a here? There is no local available, so it's try to go up above that. So there is a one variable globally available, so it's try to use this variable, and it's trying to change the value of 10 to 11. So now the value of this a variable will be changed to 11. Okay, super perfect. So let me create one more scope here to understand this in bit more detail. And here, if I again saying a equals to 12, anything gonna change here? No, because this a is having its own scope. This a is having its own scope. That's all. Now, interestingly, let's try to do one thing here. If I do a console of this a here, what will be the output? Let's think on it for a minute. Okay, let's see the output here. It's simply 10. Let's understand. The function is getting called. It is creating its own variable a, inside which it is storing 11, its own variable. It's not touching our global. When we are coming here, line number 9, it don't have any declaration with a. So it's trying to find the nearest available declaration for a, which is the nearest available declaration, line number 6. So it's using this variable here. So this 11 is getting changed to 12 at line number 9, and it is not affecting anyway at the line number 3 declaration which is present for a. And that's the reason our original value is untouched for the variable a over here. And if you want to see this a is getting changed, if I just console here a, so you can just observe this is line number 12. So line number 12, here it is line number 12, we are getting the 12 here. Perfect. Okay. So this is all about in detail for the let keyword. Let's also try understanding the practical usage for the let keyword with some for looping statement and how it is beneficial while writing the for loops. So I'll just comment this so that it will be helpful for you. Let me write a quick index here. Index equals to 5. Let's say I'm perform index equals to 5. Let's say I'm performing a few of the operations here for my own purpose, and I'm using it. After that, after performing some more operations here, I want to create a loop statement for. And inside this for, again, I want to use an index. Of course, I'll use an index with name only. So I'm not trying to use this index, but I want to use my own index variable so that I can do a looping on something. So I'll say index equals to 0, and this index should less than equals to 4 I plus plus. Okay, I'll just declare it with var here. Okay. Okay, let me just create with a var only here, and this index, let me just quickly repair this thing. Okay, and console this index. What is happening here? We are having a global variable with the name index with the value 5. Again, the same global variable we are trying to change here. This is not a new declaration is happening here because we know already it only happens with the let. So we are trying to use the same global variable and we are making the value equal to 0 for that particular index here. Then we are making it plus 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 up to 4 it will go, then it will go 5, and then it will come out of this particular for loop. I'll just make it up to uh, 3 here so that we can understand the values more quickly. So let's see what's the console is coming. So we are getting 0, 1, 2, 3. That's perfect. 0, then plus 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 is happening up to 3, and we're getting at last 3 here. And when it's coming to the 4, it's going out of the loop. Now here, I just want to console and see what is the value present inside this index. So can you guess? I'll just wait for a minute. What will be the value over here at line number 24 for the index? Let's see the output. Line number 24, the value is 4 here. So we are writing a for statement but it is changing our index which is present globally, our variable which is present globally. So this should not happen ideally, because generally we will keep writing many for loops to have some iterations and other algorithms running and everything. So our for loop, these indexing variables, we don't want to be affected and want to change our other variables which are present outside our for loop. This index equal to 0, less than equals to 3, everything we are writing for the functionality purpose of this for loop. So this is changing the variables which are present outside of this for loop. That's not a correct one. So to deal with these problems and everything, the JavaScript and the TypeScript came with a new thing for the declaration. That is what the let we have used till now. So when I'm saying let index I equals to 0, it's creating a new index variable only limited for this particular for loop itself. It's not going to affect anyway this particular index. So if I just print the output now, I should get 0, 1, 2, 3. And after that, at line number 24, I should get my 5 as it is original. Getting it? So our original value of 5 is unaffected with this. So that's the benefit of the late keyword, which keep you very much limited to the scope that you have defined or declare that variable.